It's really common for people to come into this whole bariatric journey with what we call a learned helplessness, which is conditioning. It's basically a conditioned response over many years perhaps of up and down yo-yo dieting. They get very conditioned to believe, get this hard-held belief that whenever they lose weight, it's always going to come back on. And not being able to sustain that weight loss can actually lead to some self-sabotaging behaviours where they go back to some old habits, some old familiar habits. Even though those habits might not be very healthy, they might not be very functional, they're familiar. And so they reinforce once again, if they go back to those old habits and they start to regain a bit of weight, they'll reinforce that belief that, well, see, it's always going to go back up again. The patterns that I see often are with men. They might have had a very strong sporting life, and then they get new values, new goals in life. They stop their sport. They might get a career where they're sitting behind a desk and their weight starts to escalate. It can be very challenging for women with families and work, a lot of balls in the air, a lot of things to juggle, to engage in self-care, to put themselves first. It can be very challenging to do that. And so often I see where women are having babies, going back out to work, they get onto a dieting treadmill, a yo-yo dieting treadmill. Over time their health deteriorates, their weight escalates, and there's a lot of self-loathing that creeps in there, and they start to shrink their world. They start to cut themselves off from so many things that they like to do because that self-loathing is there, because that fear of other people's evaluation of them is there, taking on a life of its own. Very often they don't go to social functions anymore because they don't feel that great about themselves. They don't go to have fun anymore. They don't go to the beach, or they don't go and try that new activity, or they don't go for that new job because they're not feeling great about themselves. So it can be, not engaging in self-care, not engaging in really making friends with your body, looking after it, making it a priority. There's all kinds of things that can unfold after that. It's just so important to really get tuned into yourself, mindfully get tuned into it, listen to your body, make friends with it, nourish it. Try and give it as much as possible, as much priority as you give those little people in your life, that husband in your life, that partner in your life, that job in your life, that you really try to give your body what it needs to put the best version of you forward that you can, so that you can go on to enjoy your life, reach your potential, that you're not cut off from things that you'd like to do and things that you like to enjoy by yourself and with your family. In WLSA, we're really focused on caring for our patients, getting to know them, understanding their journey, and really providing that unlimited support as much as possible, helping them in their life. And I will tell you a story about a lovely lady, Sharon Page, who was on her journey, and she was actually had finished her journey, but we always keep in contact with our patients because they become like part of our family then. And last year, because we provide training programs for patients to do the Gold Coast Marathon event, we'll provide 3 months training if they're interested, and at the end of which they participate in an event in the Gold Coast Marathon. Some of them do the 5.7, some do the 10, some do the half marathon, some even do the full. So last year, Sharon, who was a past patient, did the 10K with us. She did it brilliantly. She was really proud of herself, did a wonderful job, and then shortly after that she was diagnosed with cancer. She went through 12 months of therapy, of chemotherapy, of radiation, which was pretty harrowing. We stayed in contact with her all through that, and then to our absolute amazement, she participated in the training this year for the Gold Coast Marathon, and I had the privilege of running with this legend for 10Ks, and that was absolutely phenomenal, that she was able to, after putting her body going through all of that for 12 months, that then she was able to run 10Ks. And I had just so much admiration for her. She's a remarkable person. And Sharon Sharon had lost a phenomenal amount of weight before all this happened, and she learned to make friends with her body, to care for her body, and her doctors actually told her, had she not lost that weight prior to her diagnosis, she would never have been able to recover at the rate she did and get the health results that she did. So it was an absolute privilege for me to be able to support Sharon through her cancer journey, and also to run with her. You know, I love this job because all I see is positive outcomes. All I see is people blossoming, people really reaching their potential, reaching their goals, and just living the life that they were born to live. Very often overcoming incredible obstacles like cancer. Not that I see that all the time, but certainly with Sharon, that was just an amazing thing to go through with her. She found out how strong she was, and she's a very strong lady. So that was just a privilege for me to be on that journey with her, to really support her as much as I could on that journey.